Hey everyone, Vintage Vinny here, and welcome to my eBay sales for April 2025. So despite not listing as much as I would like to, and I say this every month because I procrastinate or things get busy, but I'm still able to make sales, thankfully. I currently, as I'm filming this, have a 10% off sale running, and I just came back from Lynchburg yesterday, so yesterday was Saturday, today's Sunday on the day that I filmed this. And throughout the time that we were flea marketing, yard sailing, and such, I still was able to sell almost $230 worth of stuff. So that's awesome. When you're out there spending money to make more money or for yourself, and you make a little extra moolah, that's always awesome. So without further ado, let's go ahead and check out what I got sold, shall we? So at my favorite charity thrift store that we have here that supports the military, I did find some Vanderhagen Deluxe Shave Soap. Individually, they don't go for very much, but if you list them as a lot, they sell better. At least that's my experience. So I bought, I think, 13 or 14 packs of this. I did end up selling the other 6 for, I think, like $28. Now, I invested 12 into those, actually, I think 14, so I essentially doubled my money because I gave away the other 2. Or maybe I gave away with this one. Anyway, so I bought 2 other ones, and I didn't want to just sell those 2 together, so I just added them in with the other lot of 6 that I bought. So with a combined total spent of $24, and then this one selling for $30, that's roughly $58, and I invested like $26 into it. So I made $32 essentially when you put them together. That sounds a lot better. Now this guy I bought at the Goodwill probably a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago. Just a basic Microsoft Windows reliable Eddie bobblehead. I took the tag off of them, so I don't remember exactly what I paid for them. It couldn't have been more than $3 or $4. Sat for a little while, but he finally did end up selling for full asking price of $30. Now, shortly before the new year, I wandered out into Front Royal, Virginia to an indoor flea that I'd never been to. Took a little while to find some things, but I finally did. One of them was this Kim Possible doll, not like a McDonald's or Burger King toy, but I guess a licensed Disney product. It sold for $14.99. I wound up spending $3 on it. Now, I did not know that people were still buying the crystal photo frames. This one's a Marquee Waterford Omnia frame, and I paid probably $7 or $8 for it at an antique mall, and it did actually sell for full asking price of $39.99. Now, I see a lot of the Franciscan plates when I'm out antiquing or I'm at the thrift stores, and I never pick them up because they just don't really sell all that well. I had no idea that they made a wall clock. I don't know how old it is, but it definitely doesn't have the old marking on it. It looks like a much more modern mark. I did pay $2 for this at an antique store, and I did have some offers and such on it, but they were a little low, so I held out, and somebody did finally buy it for $29.99. Now, I want to say, again, right before the new year, I went to a place called Grandma's House, and it's like an indoor flea market. There's antiques, there's new, it's everything. Or maybe it was right before Christmas, not New Year's. I think it was right before Christmas, my bad. And I spotted this Pampered Chef rotating utensil carousel thing in the box. Of course, it was not new, but it was like new. and I paid $9 for it, and it did sell for a best offer of $35. Now, speaking of items that I've had sitting for quite a while, that would be the case with this reproduction bisque Kessner doll. I listed it for $60. It's sat for quite a while again, and somebody, I think, offered me $40, so of course I took that. And I didn't realize that it was not the 20-inch doll, and I didn't realize that until the buyer had messaged me, so that was a mistake on my part. I don't remember if I had measured it or not, but it was smaller than what the buyer had anticipated, so I said, what can we do to make this right? And she said, how about just refunding me $15 for that? And I said, that's perfectly fine. So I sold it for $40, but with the $15 refund, I essentially sold it for $25. I only had $4 into it, and she didn't have to send it back to me. So I was satisfied, the buyer was satisfied, it worked out. So some Bath & Body Works products can be worth a little bit of money depending on what you invest into them. I try not to pay too much for them. I want to say I bought this in a Goodwill grab bag, and it totaled like 66 cents per piece. Because sometimes with those Goodwill grab bags, you know that you buy the bag for a certain item, or for a few of the items in there, but the rest is just like, get rid of it because it's not worth it. That was probably the case with this. So essentially, I paid only 66 cents once I divided it up by how many items were in there from the total cost of the product, or product bag, and it did end up selling for $29.99. Now this item I know I bought last summer when I was up with the Old Curiosity Shop in his neck of the woods, and I copied the listing, and as you can see by the title, it doesn't have green eyes, it's got like an orangey brown, and when the buyer was messaging me about it, I confirmed everything that she was asking. She's like, green or brown eyes? I said, it's the brown-eyed one, and such, because I must have been making some mistakes when I was listing items, and you'll see that again in another item that I share. Yeah, I must have not been paying attention to the titles, because I was just more focused on getting the stuff listed, and that happens sometimes. You know, you don't really notice something until a buyer messages you about it, or when you're going over what you listed for the day. But we're only human, right? So this Coca-Cola beer stein mug I picked up, I think, right around the last couple of months that the Hancock Antique Mall was open. I bought this at that Loaves and Fishes thrift store. And I don't normally buy beer steins or mugs because a lot of them just don't sell for a lot of money. But this one spoke to me because it was just very different. I thought it was older than it originally was, but so it's from the late 90s, so we're looking at 28 years old. Not, older than that, but still a really cool piece. It's nothing I'd ever seen before, so I paid the dollar the shop was asking for it, and I sold it for $20. Can't beat that, right? So when Scott was here in January, I took him to, we mainly antiqued in West Virginia, and I took him to a place called the Whistle Stop, which is a store that opened up right as the Hancock Antique Mall was closing. So I decided, why don't we go over there and check it out together, because I'd never been there before, and neither had he. So I did find a few colognes and perfumes, as you all know I do really well with that. This is Mesmerize by Avon. Now, don't get me wrong, not all Avon is worth money. You have to factor in what you're paying for it and things like that. I want to say I spent $2.50 for this, and it did sell for $14.99. Some Avon is worth money out there, y'all. Don't walk past it. You just have to factor in what is being asked for it and what it sells for online, because like I said, I only paid $2.50 for this, and I sold it for $15. Not a huge profit margin, but it's still it's more than I paid. That's what I was trying to say. Now these were a really good find. I had never seen these before. Usually most glass bake items, if it's like the mugs or things like that, I will just walk right past unless it's a really cool design or Zodiac or, you know. These are chicken rooster bowls. Probably was for soup or something like that back in the 50s and 60s. I paid $7.50 for both of these, and they sold for a best offer of $42. Now this is another item that, wasn't like the biggest profit of all, but hey, it's still a little bit of something. And these are Flower Bomb Victor Rolf hand and nail cream. I paid probably about $2, maybe a little less than that, because the thrift store that we have here that helps support the military will run sales every now and then on colors, like they have it every week and it rotates. So I probably paid maybe like $1 and change, or maybe it was the $2. It did sell for the full asking price of $11.99. As you can see, there is still one available, and it is on sale now for $10.79. That sale is going to be over on Monday when it's midnight or on the West Coast. So hopefully somebody buys this before the sale goes away. Now this is an item that I didn't know was discontinued. This is that OGX brand. I know that some of their products are really nice and good quality. This is their sea salt spray for the tussled beachy looks. I guess this was for your hair. And they don't make it anymore. I bought this in a digger's space at a flea market, and he had a mixture of new and old, and it was just a really good thing. And I think we both ended up spending like $30 a piece with them, my dad and I. So we both did really well. We both sold things from there that we're glad we bought. So I ended up taking a best offer of this for $35. I can't remember exactly how much each item was individually, but it was really cheap. So right after the holiday season, I stopped at an antique store that I hadn't been to for a while, and I didn't find a whole lot. I was kind of disappointed, but hey, I'll take what I can get. And I spotted this rhinestone necklace set. Excuse me. And it was 50% off. It's Fifth Avenue. I just thought it was really neat, and just the display of it in the box I thought was quite awesome. So I spent $6, and I did end up selling it for a best offer of $20. The same day that I bought... No, I take that back. I think I bought this when Scott was with me. This is Carolina Herrera Eau de Toilette, and I think I spent $3.50 for it, and it did sell for a best offer of $55. Now this is another item that I made a mistake on. As you can see, this is rare diamonds, not rare pearls. I don't know what I was thinking when I was listing this. I didn't know they made a rare diamonds. I knew they made a rare pearls. But as you can see in the picture, it is a rare diamond scent. I did pay $5 for this at the Whistle Stop, and it did sell for full asking price of $19.99. And thankfully, the buyer was satisfied knowing that they were going to be getting rare diamonds, not rare pearls, and that was a listing error on my part. Again, I think I bought this in January from the Boonesboro Antique Mall. This is Hair Jazz Lotion for long hair. Apparently, it was a TikTok thing. I don't have TikTok, so I wouldn't know. Anyway, I think I paid $2.50 for this, and it did sell for full asking price of $24.99. Now, while at my Salvation Army, I did spot this BlendJet, I guess, jar. People are always looking for replacements for items that they find, whether they thrift or yard sale themselves and they really like a machine or an appliance, and they don't have certain pieces to it, they will turn to online to see if they can find it. I paid $1.50 for this, and it did sell when my shop was on sale for $17.99. Jim Shore pieces. Some sell real well, some don't. I've had luck with the pieces I've picked up. As you can see, right here there was a re-glue job, and thankfully it was on the back, so I hope somebody was able to clean that glue residue off. And I paid $3 for this at a Goodwill store. I had it up for 20 bucks, and once I ran the sale, it sold immediately for $18. So I did okay there. You know, some Jim Shore, like some of the Angels, just don't do well. It's got to be Disney or Peanuts or, you know, something that's really popular. But some of these pieces, you know, if you can pick them up reasonably, and some of them will sit for a while, but they will eventually sell. When I spotted this at Goodwill, I thought it was the coolest thing ever. It's a Hulk Hogan beer stein mug from 1985, and it is in really good condition. I had never seen that before, so I did pay up at the Goodwill. I paid $8 for this. Of course, I do my research when I'm looking up perfumes and other things, just to make sure that I'm not overpaying for something. And of course, I want to get the best deals possible for those of you who attend my live sales on YouTube at 6 p.m. Eastern on Saturdays, because I want you all to be able to get some good things for some good prices as well. So I'm mindful of that when I'm out shopping. So anyway, paid $8 for this, and once I ran that 10% off sale, it sold immediately for $35.99. This Dimitri James skin stuff, if you guys can find it, definitely pick it up. Of course, research it and make sure that what you're paying for it is worth your time, because I bought a bunch of this at the Fayetteville Antique Mall when a vendor had it or a dealer had it, and I have made so much money on this stuff. I spent a little bit of money, but I definitely made some good money on this stuff. I can't remember off the top of my head what I paid for this one, probably $3-4. I had it up for 40, and then it did go on sale 10%, and somebody bought it for the 36 bucks. That is just awesome, right? Yet another beauty product that did sell is this Rudist BioBrew Strengthening Serum. I want to say I paid maybe $4 or $5 for this, and it did sell when I ran the sale for $17.18. The very last item that I picked up and have had for probably over a year is this Bath & Body Works Wild Honeysuckle Shower Gel. I want to say I paid $4 to $5 for this at an indoor flea market. I had it listed for $25, and it did sell during the 10% off sale for $22.50. So some Bath & Body Works stuff, like I said, if they don't make it anymore or if the formula changes, it can still bring you a little bit of green. So don't look away or don't shy away from looking at these products. So I want to thank you all so very much for watching. Let me know down below in the comment section what were your favorite sales from the month of April. And if you had a really great sale for this past month, let me know down below. I would love to read about it and hear about it. So thank you all so much for tuning in, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.